Call. Two men. One named Rich. That's me.
This is Jermaine. Just got off the toilet.
He's a foul man. This is the X's and O's of life.
Huh?
We really got to get Puppy into the intro.
You said what?
We really got to get Puppy into the intro.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Great idea.
Because we're a little dumb for not doing that. But it's also like me having him sit still for, I don't know,
however long you have to,
seconds.
yeah.
But yeah, so we made it through the holiday.
Good evening, everybody. Happy Pappy Day. I call it like everybody says. Happy Father's Day. I make it sound a little goofy, like we in the South. Like Happy Pappy Day. For those of you men or fathers that can't have a beer, I'm gonna have one for you.
Happy jail? Like,
well, they might, they may have quit, or they trying to stay away from it, or it might be not on their diet, or they gotta go to work tomorrow, or they just choose not to have a beer. But sorry, I'll have it for you.
Losers. Ugh.
Well, I mean, I haven't been on here having a couple of drinks. We've been doing these, and I ain't had no drinks in a while. But today I'm like,
our
Father's Day.
So intoxicating, you don't need it.
Happy Pappy.
Yeah.
Happy Pappy to you as well.
Yeah, you as well, man. You as well. I got two things I want to touch on. I know we did this last year, but we're going to rehash it.
Okay.
My belief has not changed. This holiday is still a joke. Absolutely a shame. Fucking joke.
I got hit with a reality double dose of different reality. It's like, for different Father's Days was, like you said, they're not as I ain't gonna say important, but they're just not treated with as much.
Exactly what it is. They're not.
They're just not treated with the urgency that Mother's Day carries. So, I'm used to at least, at minimum, a Father's Day with my kids. Throw something on the grill. Every once in a while, we'll go to a restaurant or something like that. But at least throw something on the grill. Some burgers, some dogs, maybe even some ribs. Everybody's telling you Happy Father's Day. You get the texts, you get the kids, and if you're nice, you get a nice little treat later by your significant other, so on and so forth. My reality this Father's Day was a couple texts from my kids and sitting on the couch eating a couple noodles alone.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a super shock of reality. Like it went from not even that celebrated to like.
At least your kiddo said something. I didn't even get anything.
Dang. Yeah. Well, mine kind of went in sequence. It was like my ex was first. It was like noon, and then like I want to say like a half an hour later my daughter, and then probably like an hour later my son, because I know he's like me. He sleeps in because he has to get up throughout the week for school. He's the only one in the house that got to get up at 7 a.m. or 6 8 whenever he do. So he'd be dead tired on those weekends. I know he used to come home and just, Friday nights he used to be like, "Hey man, you ready to play the game?" He'd be like, "Nope." No. He'd be tired after all that getting up at 6 8. I do not miss that, man. Going to school, getting up when it's still dark, and running to go down to the bus stop to catch the bus. Oh man, I do not envy anyone in that position. Yeah, but yeah, Father's Day is a joke. But go ahead.
Yep. Yeah, no, I mean, Tef took care of me. We had our own little reality kind of check here about, you know, I don't know who's going to be listening to this or not, so I'm not going to really speak it, but it put a real sour damper. It's nothing between us or anything. We're not like getting divorced yet. Yet. No, we're not getting divorced. Yeah, no. But it put a pretty healthy damper on the whole day and just took the wind out of its sails. So it just, turned into a Sunday, which, to be honest, I kind of wasn't really expecting anything else, because when it comes to me, like, you remember my birthday, right?
Yeah.
Went to Boston, everything was fine, yada yada, except when the birthday came, I tried to die from whatever illness I had. So I think really the universe is just very much like, no, dude, you don't get days for you. You don't get those special days that are like revolving around you. It's usually something will put a damper on that. So,
So what happened? Y'all had an argument or something like that?
No. Let's just say this. Future
Well,
plans.
I ain't trying to broadcast the news.
No. I'll just say this. Future plans are probably not going to come to fruition. So it just put a damper on the whole thing. I mean, I'll let you know. But
yeah. Catch me up to speed on camera.
Yeah. It's just one of those things where I don't want certain people to hear, and then somehow or another, someone finds out, whatever.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, and it's not her fault by any stretch of the imagination. It just was the reality of the situation, just dragging the whole day kind of through the mud, and just was like, yep, nope, this day has lost all of its allure. There's zero specialness to it. I do not care. I'm over it.
Like the Karma Kings are those who
Dude, they are undefeated.
They came up to you, was like, oh, you thought you was going to enjoy something? Hell no.
Right.
They slapped the hell out of you like, hell no, you ain't enjoying it.
Right. And I really needed it. I really needed it. And I'll explain that into the second little thing I wanted to touch on. But yeah, just, I'm not saying our takes are 100% right all the time, but I don't even remember what last Father's Day was. I, honest to God, I don't remember what happened, and that may just be because I'm a bad person.
I honestly blanked it up. I'm drawing a blank. I'm drawing a blank myself, because at first, when I said that this was my first one,
right,
totally alone, I'm like, what did I do last year? Because the separation had happened in like April, so I know I had a Father's Day that passed, but I truly can't remember what happened.
And I don't know if that's just a guy thing or what, but I would venture to guess that most moms can remember their last like 5.
Yeah. Well, I mean, society has told us it's not important, and if somebody keeps telling you you're crazy over and over and over, eventually you might check yourself into the asylum. I mean, you're like, okay, maybe I am crazy. So if society keeps telling you it ain't shit, it ain't shit, it ain't shit, and then your brain condition yourself to it ain't shit.
Right. Yeah. And it's just, I mean, it is what it is. Like, there's no, not boo-hooing about it. I mean, it just is literally how that goes. Like, it's fine, but what are you gonna do?
I think it's just a pause for the rest of America, or not America, the world, I guess, to say thank yous that kind of go silent or go missed unsaid. I guess it's like a pause moment for kids to pause for a second and say, oh yeah, you do help me out. Oh yeah, you were there.
Dude,
because a lot of men,
I would have loved to have had that. I would have loved to have had that. Like, she even reminded them, and they still were like, fuck you. Yeah, all right. Cool.
Yeah. Because a lot of things that we do is it's a unwritten rule. It's it's understood that this is you're
unthankful-
supposed to do it. You shouldn't be.
thing, which is fine, but I think just
Well, I mean, like
I don't
with women, it's just like I mean, as a mother, you're supposed to unconditionally love your child, and it's not like you shouldn't be as a mother running around looking for appreciation or pats on the back for being a mom. It's like you
Right.
should be doing that anyway,
Right.
But I don't know.
I think just on
It's
my
just-
side, it would have been nice to like feel special.
Yeah.
From them. Like Tiff always makes me feel special. Like that's what she does. She's very good at that. This today was out of her control because she had her own hurdles to kind of get through on her head. So I get that. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
If somebody has to keep reminding you just to show some type of appreciation, then it's like I don't
Right.
want your appreciation if
Right.
you have to be given the money to go get the gift. You have to be reminded to even acknowledge like I don't need it then. If it's too much for you to do on your own out of your own free will, then keep
if they
doing
came
what you've
down
been
right
doing.
now and said, "Hey, I would look at him like, dude, it's fucking 7. Get away from me." Like, don't do that. Because that's just gonna feel so like phoned in and so fake to me. And like, even if it's genuine, like, oh, I just remembered. It's like, okay, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have a right to be, pissed because if I didn't get anything at all, as far as like not even a happy Father's Day, like, yeah,
No, I will
I
tell
would
you
be
this.
super pissed.
Tiff did buy me something real cool. Like, she bought me this little. It's called Freebird, and it's a razor, right? But it's in the shape of kind of like a mouse. Well, not like a mouse, but like a computer mouse. And it has all these little extensions, and for like it's specially made for your mom.
Like I've seen the dudes that give themselves ball heads. They got like it's almost like a shaver, like a 3-pronged shaver, and you put your hand on it, and you can.
That's All right, hold on.
Oh, that's awesome. That would make my haircuts take a little bit long. I mean, we both were too. Oh, that's different. Okay.
Yeah, and it has the little 3-pronged.
Yeah. That's what I'm used to. Yep.
Yeah. So once you were explaining it, I'm like, that's exactly what it is. So yeah, that's pretty cool, man. It was a good gift. Tiff's getting really, really good at doing practical, make sense gifts. I like it. So, I mean, that was a highlight. We went and checked out the boys' graduation party place. It's in pretty much BFE a little bit, but that's fine. A lot of land, so.
You said BFE, so like a hall?
No. Like bumfuck Egypt. Like that's BFE. Yeah, you've never heard that before?
Nope.
Wow.
I said BFE. I'm thinking like BFW, like one of those halls like VFW or something. I thought you said a BFE. I'm like, is that like an Elks or a hall? You was like, no, bumfuck Egypt.
Egypt, yeah. No, they got, I guess, around Tarentum. So,
okay.
But it's, just like this, all these pavilions and what have you, but they're, I wouldn't say they're like upper echelon or whatever, but it just looks real nice. They got electric and all that. So we just wanted to kind of scope that out real quick and make sure all the finishing touches are finishing touched and all that.
Yeah.
So,
how many, like, I guess friends or male friends that Will got that, would come to this, like, do we got a best friend or anything like that? I never really hear him talk about anybody.
Really? It's super kind of, he keeps that stuff kind of close to the chest.
Close to the chest,
so,
yeah.
We're gonna find out sooner than later from a head count. So, obviously if the family's coming, I sent out, invites to my people if they want to show up. I don't know if I sent anything to you or not. I just figured I'd just tell you, hey,
yeah. You ain't got to put a card in the mail.
Yeah,
your card is right here.
You were a text away. You coming? Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Saved on.
Man, graduation party, man. That was. I had a combined graduation party. You know, with Keenan Allen, me and him had
God.
yeah, we had a combined graduation party. We had a DJ from Whammo. His name was Nick Nice. Yeah, Nick Nice. You know, it was like one of the greatest white DJs ever in this area. And yeah, man, we had like a backyard on 3rd Avenue in Aliquippa. And, you know, we had the DJ. We had two big like garbage can buckets of punch that was made out of grain alcohol. You remember grain was that crazy out where you could put only one bottle in and it'll get everybody fucked up. Man, we had one. It was a dope party. It was one of those parties I'll never forget. Yeah, we had a combined graduation party. It was awesome.
I mean, that's the way to do it too. Like if you can just, I mean, you're going to save on money, save on time. Yeah, that's kind of the way to go. Yeah. It's kind of like if you get with somebody and their like birthday is right near Christmas, it's like you aren't doubling up.
Yeah. It was like, okay, you know a lot of people, I know a lot of people. You know, as far as the financials go, it's a lot easier when they say, well, how much is a DJ? And you say 200, but if you say you got 100 and I got 100, that's a lot easier. Right. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And as far as the alcohol and all of that and the tables and all that, we split it down the middle. I mean, well, his family contributed more because we had it in his uncle's backyard. So we had the venue. I mean, it was nice. It was nice as opposed to handling everything on your own. Probably takes away from the pack or the punch from it if you got to handle all the expenses yourself.
You're busy playing, not supervisor, but
chaperone.
There, chaperone. Yeah, and then you're just, that's you don't get the, and that's rarely that's not rarely, but that's usually actually how that goes. You rarely get to actually enjoy the fruits of your labors when you're doing stuff like that. You're too busy trying to look at the itinerary of like, all right, here we go. You're
so busy looking for the contingency plan and say something failed. So it's like you can't even enjoy yourself.
Thing I thought about it was like, all right, what are we doing if it rains? That's the first thing. I didn't say it out loud because I'm like, I'm not trying to add more stress to this, but it's an outside venue. What do? You know, but
what day they having it? What day is he having it?
It's actually, let's see.
Is it July or is it August?
No. It's actually the 29th.
This month?
Yeah.
Dang, it's coming up.
Yeah.
It is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's not this Saturday, but the next Saturday. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So you need to get an air conditioner because you are not going to survive this week.
I know it's going to be ridiculously hot.
And by the way, I
got the fan going in the background right now. I'm like, man, and
the ones that we had that I was going to give you, they literally had mold in them. So that's why you never got it from us. Because that's deadly. It's gonna be real hot though.
This week is supposed to be like some type of. They even put. I keep getting texts and advisories on my phone of, you know, hey, be prepared. But you know, I haven't been in the office, but this week I will be going in because on Tuesday we got like an associate appreciation day thing, so have to go in, and then
that should be fun.
Yeah. It's almost. I'm almost feeling like you felt with the whole reunion. It's like. I know it ain't been years, but I haven't seen a bunch of people from the office in so long. I feel like, you know, I'm like making sure everything's all groomed up. I'm all like nervous because I haven't seen anybody. Like I'm wondering how I look. I'm like, man, I ain't been to the gym in a while. I'm all looking in the mirror like, dang, they remember me as, you know, big buff guy. It's like they probably gonna be like, dang, he shriveled up. Because I ain't been to that gym in so long. Yeah, Tuesday's gonna be interesting. But yeah, I think I'm gonna try to get in the office as much as I can this week, just because it's gonna be hot, and you know it's hotter than the devil's draws in this apartment. So
Yeah, because you're on
Yeah.
like what the second floor, so
Third. Yeah.
third. Oh god. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
read off the high temperatures starting from tomorrow, going through the week. Yeah. So high temperature 92, 92, 93, 94, 94, 93, and 83.
Mm.
Cool.
See, I think as we got closer to it, those temperatures lowered. Because when I took a look at it, like some earlier this week,
Yeah.
it was like it said 97, 98, 98. I was like, golly, it's gonna be hot. But then I guess as you get closer, that's funny.
Well,
Everybody always talk about the weather, man. They get to get to correct and recorrect. They they got whiteout. They can make the mistakes and recorrect their mistakes, and nobody gets mad.
The worst part too about it, and this is the worst part about it. There's no rain. There's nothing.
Yeah, I didn't see any drops on any of those days. I just seen they give you a little logo with the sun and then raindrops.
Mm-hmm.
I just seen all sun.
I look down. I just see like the middle finger emoji. I'm like, oh, well, all right. You shitty weather.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's gonna be real hot. So anyone I don't even think it has to be local. I think everyone across the goddamn country is like, oh no, I can't. Mm-hmm. So,
I already know. Whole week I'm being in my boxers, right at the computer. Can't put anything on because I'm gonna be blazing.
Yeah. I saw something here too from Duquesne Light saying that there may be like rolling blackouts. So
yeah, I got some type of indication from them too. I was just like, it was like, be prepared for heat, and I'm like, what do heat got to do with the power? And then I was just like, they was like, yeah, be prepared in case something go out or something. I'm like, whoa. Like for me, I'm already in here baking, but for you AC people, whew, y'all gonna have some adjusting to do if you don't got no power.
I remember it was like 2 or 3 years ago. I don't remember, but there was a pretty wicked storm, and it was like pretty much that temperature, and lightning hit a tree. The tree then fell on the power line, kind of a few streets up, fucked up all the power for like 9 hours, and it was ridiculous. Like it was 95, 96. And this is the evening.
See, that's the difference between, when it's really, really cold, most people stay inside and keep warm and nobody's
outside on the porch. Like, this is bullshit.
Now, when it gets too hot and there's no power conditions, people get violent. I mean, if you saying 9 hours, like imagine a whole day in a certain neighborhood, no power, people are going to be outside and they're going to get irritated. I mean, being too hot irritates you. Being too cold just causes you to wrap up, and like no one wants to fight when they're too cold. They're like, man, it's so cold, I want to punch you in the face. But somebody can say, it's so hot, I want to punch you in the face. And they really will do it.
Well, it's the whole blood is boiling. You have to hear the saying of like, oh, my blood's freezing. It's like, okay. You go to the doctor. That shit is not healthy.
I'm telling you, man, that's what those cities, violence. I mean, I'm not sitting up there trying to say that heat causes irritation, but it does. Not trying to say that heat causes crime, but if you ever watch those first 48 shows, the majority of them, they start out in Miami. You know why? Because it's always hot.
I'm just saying.
It's always hot. Like in the cities, like the Californias and where it's all hot all year round, they have the most crime rate. They just do.
Shot in North Dakota. Oh, wait.
First 48 ain't starting out in Kansas or Wyoming.
Right.
Like it's in one of those hot cities in Florida.
Oh, I hit Cletus with the shotty, and things happen.
Yeah. Weather weather breeds violence. Hot weather breeds violence.
There's probably a study out there for that too. Now, obviously, there's going to be more people in a warmer climate as well, so that probably cuts into that as well. Just
Yeah, that correlates. Yeah,
I mean,
but
I am curious. Like, there probably has, but yeah, you can't even say that because you would think, okay, well, it's warmer this week than it was last week. Now there's more crime. Was it because there was more people out because it was warmer, or is it because?
well, one city that'll just kind of destroy the theory is New York. It's like, okay, it's just a lot of people in New York and it's cold,
right,
but
right.
people still die like crazy in New York. So that's just overhaul the population there.
Yeah, like that, because that's just a crime-ridden place. Like, there's a lot of like dirt that goes in New York, so I feel like that probably is one of the outlying kind of like probably that in California, obviously, because you know just the
But
two
New York, it's not even a weather problem. It's just fighting for square inches, square feet. Like I mean, apartment in New York, like the shithole I'm living in right now, is probably $2,000-3,000 in New York. You know, it's like that's crazy.
joke. Well, I guess the other thing I want to kind of touch on here is, and I'm going to be as vague as possible here, but it's about said job. And
Okay.
I wanted to talk to you about this, and I wanted to kind of do this in a public forum because I would like to kind of get anyone that would have any kind of, comments or any kind of feels or reads on it, do that. I am at the end of my rope.
Can't take it no more, huh?
So Tiff has brought it to my attention with certain things that I've told her that it seems that this supervisor that I have now either actively dislikes me to a very strong degree and or is trying to get rid of me.
Same supervisor that you thought was cool, military style, right?
No, he was super cool. I dug him.
I was about to say, dang, last time you had rave reviews about the person last time. That's why I was like, dang, it switched from that.
That broke my heart when I lost that guy. That dude was he he was up there with you, man.
That's what I was going to say. I know you was like, you said that he was great. That's what I was like, dang, he did a 360 on you or 180 on you?
That dude. All right. Anyone that doesn't know, we'll kind of, for anyone that's newly watching here, here's story time with me. So this ugly sumbitch that's on the other side of the screen here, he at one time when I first got to said job was my boss. And the initial meetup was very awkward. Oh, handshake.
Look forward to working with you. I walked away in my head. I was like, man, that was corny as hell. But hey,
yeah,
throw the thumb up.
Like when you don't know anybody, when you're like a fresh off the truck, getting into a job, like you have to be very neutral. And then you start letting your guard down and just start being you. But
yeah, like when you first meet somebody, you got on pretty much a spacesuit or astronaut outfit. You got helmet, you got on the big puffy thing, and you're hopping around with no gravity. But then slowly, as you know the person, you be like, you know what, man, I'm sick of talking to you through this helmet. So then you take off the helmet. Then you start taking off the clothes. And next thing you know, we sitting up there.
Analogy. Let's keep going.
Next thing you know, we sitting there, two guys in a pair of shorts. We done told everything. Like, hey, man, this is me. This is you.
Yeah. And that's really kind of how it worked. Like it was a pretty cool sequence of events. Like we weren't really paying attention to it when it was happening. it was just a very organic thing, which, 7 years later, we're doing this. So obviously it worked. Spoiler alert.
I said I ain't want to spoil the movie for you.
Spoiler or anything, but hey, but it in hindsight, you can look back and it's like we I'm not saying there were checkpoints or little mile markers or anything like that, but I think if we both just sit back and look at it, we can probably pinpoint certain little places where we really clicked. I think one of the biggest things is when we went to Andrews for the first draft
Mm-hmm.
for football, because it was like, oh, you're letting me in your circle.
Yep.
And I think that's the first time that I saw your dick. No, I'm just it wasn't the first time.
No, it was like, okay, at the job, a F-bomb might slip here and there. Once we got into that circle with football, it was every other word. And it was just like, hey, this is me with my full ponytail let down.
Right. So yeah, like it so not to go down memory lane, that's not really the point of this, but just the backstory. So you were my boss for probably 3 years? Something like that.
Sounds about right. 2 or 3.
You were my longest tenured boss, which is pretty wild because I'm on number 7 in year 7, so that just shows you how fucked up my job is. So
yeah, like we were, on the same team until I think you wanted a earlier schedule. That's how it usually goes. Because being a late,
got to 5, the 410s. Yeah, yep.
Yeah, like as far as supervisor wise, I was on kind of like I was a baby as far as tenure. So like, I'm sitting up here running around with 10, 11 years of experience, but I got people ahead of me on the seniority list that got 15, 20, 25, 30 years experience. So I always got stuck with a late shift, 2:30 to 11. Sunday, Mondays off. I was glad to even get Sunday, Monday because I will not sit there and work during them damn them NFL games. So, I was at least grateful to get that. But that's the pattern. That's what would happen. And that's I seen it is not fair to me because it was like, I'm bringing these people in when they're brand new to the company, developing them, getting their talent. Can you imagine, you're a team like the Steelers or something, and you bring in this person and you turn them into a Pro Bowl player and they roll out and go play for another team in 2 years. And it's like, you watching, you're a proud dad because you're looking like, look at my player that I taught how to work in the trenches, score all these touchdowns.
You're going to look at him like, yeah, he was a Yankee. He wasn't a Pirate.
He was a what?
Like when that person retires, you look back and he's gonna be remembered as a Yankee, not a Pirate.
Yeah. It's like, man, I taught you when you was a baby, but you sitting there watching people score touchdowns for other teams and stuff like that. But that was a revolving door. Most new people that came in got that late schedule that I was assigned to, work them, develop them, and then when they want an earlier schedule, they go to somebody else. And you're a classic example because you were damn good at your job. And I'm sitting up there like, man, look at him scoring touchdowns and doing Stephon Diggs end zone celebrations with somebody else's team.
I wonder if yep. So
because most people don't like that graveyard shift, and if I had got used to it, I didn't really like it, but I got used to it.
Yeah, I always felt like it just takes your whole day. Your day is gone. So
yeah.
But I'm actually glad you mentioned what you mentioned because we're going to kind of segue back into that. So you saw me develop. You were there for probably 5 of my 7 years, maybe 4. I don't know.
Maybe 4. Okay. Like, what year did you come on board?
17.
Actually, it was only probably 2, almost going on 3 because I left in December of 19, really to 20. So yeah. So if you came on 17, I left around 20, like right before COVID hit. That's when I left that December, right then there. That December of 19. So yeah, about 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. Because that started in March of 17. So yeah. Okay.
Okay. That makes sense.
So fair enough. So out of all the suits, not just based on tenure, but obviously we have a relationship here too. But just from a tenure standpoint, you know me better than anyone that I was under, and you saw how I do work. You saw how I work. I am not conventional. Once again, I'm not trying to like relinquish too much information about the job, but we've had many conversations. You've had many comments and many of observations of my evolution, I guess, to put it lightly.
Yeah, you've never been a follow the script person. It's like, okay, if somebody tell you to run from one end of the football field to the other, and most people would run in a straight line straight to that 100-yard. You would zigzag, but as long as you got there, you got there. You know,
Right.
no matter, like you went your own route. Like you didn't take the typical, cookie cutter type of approach. Like I told you several times, it was like, and by the time you get done with your customers, it seemed like you on their couch with a beer in your hand, your feet up on their coffee table talking to them, and they fine with it.
And I'm glad you said that, because I was going to ask you, and what is the general consensus of the people that I deal with? Like, what they usually leave there, like, well, goddamn, fair enough. Many a times, and this isn't me tooting my own horn, I'm just trying to prove my point here. Many a times I've had people ask to speak to my superior because of what I've brought to the table for them. But in the good way, not the prototypical I want your manager, Karen, type of thing. No.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, I just need to talk to someone about you, because this is literally the best experience, and this is verbatim verbiage I hear quite often.
Yeah, because you spoke to him like an actual human being, like a person. Right. Instead of a robotic response. Anybody can hear a robotic. You could speak to a AI bot and get, we appreciate your business. Like, like, I'd rather hear somebody like, hey, man, you've been with us a long time. We really value you. You know what I'm saying?
Do you remember one of my signature phrases for that?
Not exactly.
All right.
Go ahead.
I used to hit people with, listen, man, you have literally you've been here longer than I've been a person. So that's cool. And there's like, I'm like, I know, I'm old. It's crazy. But it's just not a phoned in thing. Just, whatever. Anyway, I'm not going to explain my job part. That's all right. So, this person has tried to change how I do my business. I understand that you need to. I don't think there's anything wrong with softening those edges, adding another level of professionalism into that. That is fine. But when the person that's offering that is absolutely phoning it in and doing very canned responses, canned answers, and not quote unquote coaching to the person, they're coaching to the team, that's where the problem kind of comes into play. The reason I feel that this person is trying to cut me off at the knees is there's a lot of aspects, for example, right? So if something was happening yesterday, I reach out to that person and say, hey, I sold this piece of equipment. There is a current promotion going on for a sidebar of this equipment. I didn't add this promotional billing code. Can we add it after the fact? This person then responds to me. I send this in the group messenger, right? Not to personalize, talking just to you. I bring that up. This person reacts as if I did that on purpose. Somehow, because I wouldn't benefit from said sale because logic and shit. So a few little pieces of dialogue come there. Very kind of just whatever. Not really anything. Then the person directly messages me. Asks me a few questions. I respond. I say, obviously it wasn't on purpose. I need to fix this. being told certain aspects of this that aren't true, because this person is pretty dog shit at what they do, to be fully honest. Very, very out of the loop on most things. The information given is mostly look at the doc, look at a doc, look at the doc. That's not what I'm asking you for. So I don't need to do that. The reason I'm inquiring is because said doc isn't answering that question, which this did. So then the person then switches from the personal messaging to go back into the team messenger to say things.
See, I really hate someone talking around me about me, like talking in groups or spitting into the air.
I fucking love you.
I hate someone that is indirectly speaking to me in a group setting. It's like, just say it to me. Like, stop. You know, if I just dropped something on the ground, you know, and they don't approve of it, don't say to the whole group, hey, y'all got to be careful and you can't drop stuff, you know, to the whole group. Just say it to me. Like, Jermaine, you cannot drop that right there. You know, don't talk to the group trying to address me.
Tiffany brought up a point saying, yeah, that sounds like they were basically trying to sort of kind of embarrass you in front of the people, you know, to kind of get a mob mentality going against you. And I'm just thinking, like, bitch, you don't want this smoke. You really don't. You don't. Now, that wasn't the first instance.
I mean, coming from a leadership perspective, if I was to address something like that to a group, yes, that is my intent, to try to make you look a little shitty in front of your peers. And that's coming from a management perspective.
Yeah. To bring it up with you. And here's the other thing. So later, a little bit into that, you know, towards the end of the shift, she then responds with, okay, I created a ticket for you after I already created a ticket, which I asked her. Well, actually, I knew where I had to go for the ticket. She said, you should go to this certain sector. And I looked at it and I'm like, no, that's not where I would need to go. That's incorrect. I would have to go to this sector. And she's like, okay, well, right, but still it needs to be handled. I'm sitting there like, you're fucking dumb at what you do. Anyway, I digress. But she then responded in the team chat again saying, I created, and this is like an hour after the fact. I created the ticket for you. Here's the screenshot. And then about 2 minutes later, she responds again in the personal chat. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to send that to the group. And it's sitting.
What?
Yeah.
So now you got fat fingers. You got fat fingers, and you.
And I'm sitting here like, that seems like you realize what you did and how that's going to get perceived. And now you're trying to cover your tracks. But really, in all actuality, that means you did that twice. So you're not covering your tracks. You're just a goddamn idiot. Anyway. Because I think she thinks that I'm not logical and I'm not like seeing this. It's like, you understand how malicious and bad of a person I am. Like, I think these things all the time. I'm not your prototypical person that's working here. But that
sounds like she took your intelligence for granted, or
that's true.
You know, and she's sitting there trying to backpedal out of it like Sauce Gardner or something. You're not a professional cornerback.
Yeah. And like I said, that wasn't the first instance. There's a lot of, you know, interactions that are being pulled that are seemingly all negative. All these interactions that I'm having, all you're bringing to the table are the negative ones. And
so it took you some time to find these negative ones.
Right. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, that's not, you're meaning to tell me that all of these interactions, when I look at my statistical parts where the AI takes, you know, your verbiage and creates a score for you and an overall behavior score over, you know, the month, I look at that and I am like a dick hair below the top tier. But the calls you're pulling are all negative and they're all the same type of thing. So here's my problem. You're doing that. That's not, if you're pulling the same ones, and you keep saying the same thing, what are you accomplishing? You're not, all you're doing is providing examples of not even bad calls, just missing little piece, missing piece here, missing piece there, but it's the same few little missing pieces. It almost feels like that is a found interaction, not a randomized interaction.
Oh, it definitely is.
And being that you work at said job, I think, and at no point have you interrupted and said, "No, you're incorrect there. You're off base. This seems like a conspiracy theory. Take off your tinfoil hat thing." Because
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the AI scored interactions. Now, if they were pretty terrible, and then all the interactions pulled by said person were terrible, and then you still feels there's a conspiracy against you, then you need to take a look in the mirror, because both systems are scoring it the same way. You're not as good as you think you are. But if one system AI which has no bias in it at all, it is totally a random type of, generated from a computer, and it doesn't have any bias outside of, it being a computer that's just picking random interactions. If those scores don't match, like she should be looking to mirror what the AI is saying. Not saying that we should, pattern our beliefs off of AI, but like I said, AI has no bias in it. So you should be taking out the bias that you have out of, your evaluation of a person. How can you keep bringing terrible interactions of how shitty I am into my face and coaching to those shitty points when it happens occasionally, but you are definitely searching for these interactions. You're not pulling them randomly.
And here's the other part. You're not coaching to the player, you're coaching to the team. And I'm not saying that anyone needs to get preferential treatment, but being that you are the quote-unquote leader of men, you need to understand there's 14 unique individuals or whatever on that team.
Yeah.
Not saying that you need to teach, Susie how to do things with kid gloves and then be more harsh with Bobby, anything like that. No. But if we are in a session and you have brought up an idea and I shoot it down in a respectful manner, saying, "Hey, that doesn't really work with me. Like what you're asking to do, what you're trying to do right now, i.e., putting a time frame on something. How can you, like something like, how can you move this product? When would you move your next product? I don't fucking know, chick. Can't answer that question." Like, that was an actual question. Like, hey, when are you going to move your next product? I don't fucking know. When I fucking do it, that's when. But I explained on a multitude of times, hey, that doesn't really work for me. That puts unnecessary pressure on me. I don't operate like that. That doesn't work with me. But every week, you'll ask that. And I give you the same response saying, hey, and over the weeks, you hear my response get a little bit more of a bite, to the point where I'm now like, look, I don't know how else to tell you, but stop asking me that question, because I'm going to give you the same answer I gave you last week. When that shit happens, it's going to happen and everything's going to be fine, because I move product. I'm not worried about it.
See, I don't understand this person's approach, because it's like, okay, if you were brand new, green, you're moldable. Okay, so if I'm trying to mold you into the representative that I want you to be, it's going to be a lot easier to teach you these things, because you don't know no better. You know nothing else. But if I'm going into, a situation where I'm acquiring some people from that have tenure, that have had success doing it their way, I'm only going to add small little tweaks to what you're doing to enhance what you're doing to make it even better. Or if I have any new suggestions, I'm not trying to teach a old dog new tricks. I might add you some tools to, like I said, make your job a little bit better. But I'm not going to totally try to change you unless you had failure. So if you're not a failure agent, why am I trying to change the core of what you do? That's kind of silly on my part.
Yes, absolutely. And it has rubbed me the wrong way. And the thing that actually kind of put me over the edge here too is because the last weekly coaching session we had, still same thing. I got there late, still had complaints, still looked at my numbers. They were still perfectly fine. But the successes that were there, like the quote unquote improvements, were never spoken on. So my thing is, if you are going to play that hard in the paint with these negative things that are randomly being pulled up, but then when I adjust myself, because I made a conscientious effort to touch on a few little pieces of verbiage, put my stank on it, and make it mine, which is fine. I am very coachable. I have no problems doing that. I said that from the gate. I don't think there's anything wrong with having a bit of a hybrid, more professionalism, part to you to add to my general, whatever, sociable person self thing. But when those are addressed and I speak to it saying, hey, yeah, look, I have added this to my repertoire, yada, yada. Not that I need positive validation. I don't need that. If anything, I want to be left alone, to be honest. But you make such a big stink of it and you don't say fuck all to it afterwards, bitch, go find something. Go find something fuck. Because
if I tried your new approach and you clearly see me implement your suggestions and you don't recognize me doing it,
right?
Then it's like, what are you doing? Also,
what have you tried to accomplish at that point? That's where I'm at. Like you did this for your rationale to make me a better agent or do whatever you do, hit on these behaviors, whatever. I do that. You don't recognize it. And like, what were you trying to do? Like, if I was to do this and change up how I was going to do, and your personal, non, problem ass self issue, whatever, that wasn't a part of it. You just wanted to make me better. I would think that would make more sense just from a person, just from not being socially inept to, hey, look, thank you for doing that. I appreciate you doing that. We're going to start looking more into the numbers here to see how that has progressed over the weeks. But that's awesome. I'm glad you did that. Even though I can't necessarily see all the numbers right now, I appreciate that. And not that I needed that. It was more the frustration of how hard you went with the negative part and how just oblivious and invisible that what you asked me to do, which I told you, listen, I'm an odd bird. Like I am very habitual, right? I don't have any script or anything I say to people when I'm yapping to them. I just kind of generally go with the flow, and there's certain things I don't really think to touch on because it's not really, I will say it my own way, but I don't use some of the verbiage that they're looking for, that the AI is looking for. So me adjusting to doing something like you said for 7 fucking years, it's a little more difficult than someone that's been there for about 7 weeks,
Well, if you were given a speech, there's certain people that give a speech where they write the whole speech out and they read the speech and they look up at the crowd maybe 2-3 times, but most of the time they're reading that speech word for word. You come up to the speech with maybe 2 cue cards with some bullet points on it and you might touch on them, but most of it is improv. You're just going by the mood and how it flows and so on and so forth, but you still hit the bullet points on that card. And for me, it sounds like she's just coming to you with a plate of negativity. And even though you addressed one of the negative things, to not recognize that and then just hand you another big helping of negativity is a ridiculous coaching philosophy on her part. Like, we even tell you in upper management classes, you can't hone in on the negative. Like, you're supposed to, most of the time, from a management perspective, it's supposed to be, you always highlight or recognize something good that the person's done, maybe 2 and 2. Like, here's 2 things that you did really well. Here's 2 things that you can improve upon. And then we can reconvene and we talk about it the next week to see, what you improved upon. If I just beat you over the head with browbeat you over the head with negativity, one, that's going to cause you to tune me out or just shut down and like, you know what? I give up. Like, if you keep telling somebody, hey, I like the way you did that, but here's what you did wrong. This is, if I got 8 things that you did wrong and only got like 1 thing that you did right, and then the next time, I still got 7 more things to hit you with, eventually I'm gonna get frustrated and tune you out. I mean, it's like, so I don't do nothing well. Like, you can't tell me I did nothing. And like you said, I don't need it, but at the same
Right.
time, I don't need to be told that I'm a piece of shit all the time.
You need to match your energy. If you are going to be that adamant about the negative stuff, then you need to be on at least bare fucking minimum half mass with the positive stuff.
Yeah.
Now, here's what this person does in regards to their actual coaching when it comes to the positive stuff. They ask you in the beginning, "Oh, so what have you done well this week?" I don't fucking know. What? It seems very lazy, I guess is my kind of take on it now. And I think I just kind of rolled with the punches, but now that I'm, maybe some people will be kind of saying this over analytical. I don't know. But now that I'm able to look at it from an outsider's point of view, I guess it's like, that doesn't seem like a coaching strategy. That seems lazy. That seems like you want me to bring to your attention what I think I'm doing well. So either you can agree or disagree, or just, okay, say we check that off the box. Let's get into the whatever that I found, that whatever. So I think, now understand, I've not been happy at this place for a while. So don't think this person is driving that final nail, but they're driving that final nail. Because now,
I mean, the strategy that you're saying, I mean, self-evaluation, that is, it is taught in management groups, and it can be a powerful type of thing, because you don't want to always be telling the person,
right.
Here's what I found wrong. Here's what I found wrong. Here's what I found right. Like, you want them to self-assess. So that is a strategy, but self-assessment all the time, like you said, it appears lazy. Like you said, it's like, okay, I don't know what I'm going to coach to, but let's see if you can help me out with a few pointers so I can, hop on your bandwagon and lean into that. Because you already agreed with me. So my point is easier to come across because you brought it up.
Yes. So I think, well, actually, no, I don't think. It's affecting my mental health. It really is. Like, I have anxiety, like, to the point I have anxiety to do what I do now. Like, actual anxiety. Like, I'm nervous. I've never
Pins and needles for Rich Dow. Never on that phone, man. This is you like a mayor with the key to everybody's motherfucking city. Talking to him. That's how I remember you.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I do. But, and I don't know if it's a matter of trying to adapt to the change, or if I am not, I don't say I'm concerned, but now that I'm thinking these things through, it's like,
it's not natural. I mean, if you're, keep using analogies, but if you're a fighter or a karate fighter or something, and you're used to just doing moves, out of pattern without even thinking, and then someone tells you you have to, count your steps, count your defense and blocks and punches, you're thinking, like, it causes you to hesitate and be stiff.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, we even see it in football where a lot of players, that's why players get better from year 1 to year 2 to year 3, because they're taking less thinking out of it. When they're first and they're young and they're a rookie, they're going to make mistakes because they're thinking too hard. But once they get free and they know what they're doing, and they're out there like Troy, just all over the place and doing what they want, free as a bird. And now she's put, cages around your unorthodox approach.
I think the other part of it here too is the fact that, I guess the best way to put it is, now that I know that you're kind of on the warpath here, you're looking. So now I'm anxious, because it's like, I progressed on making these other changes, and you could care less. So now I'm kind of wondering, like, does it even matter? Like, I'm playing these I'm playing these I guess situations in my head when I came in here and I had no problems. I still have no problems, but I now am being forced to like it to the point where this person actually asked me this. And this is actually where the whole thing started. Um she said, "Are you are you happy here? Are you looking to progress?" I'm like, I mean, I'm
What?
here. I'm here. I mean, do I want to progress here? No, not at all. And I was like, you were my seventh suit in 7 years. Absolutely not. Like the turnover rate is ridiculous. I'm all set. I'm not setting myself up for failure.
The
Two,
attrition rate of the management group
yeah.
seems
And here's
ridiculous.
that part's fine. Here's the other part. She asked me, do I think I'm cut out for this?
What? Okay.
And I responded with, yeah. What
Do
do
you
you?
think not?
And I
Yeah.
said, do you? And she's like, well, no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying, like, I mean, do you think? I'm like, no. And I then cut her off at the knees. I'm like, no, don't answer that fucking question like that. I asked you, do you think I'm cut out for this? Don't switch it up on me. And she had nothing to say. She was like, I mean, you know. And I'm like, wow,
I would
okay.
have said, go into my file, read my last 6 reviews or my last 7 reviews, and kiss the rings, bitch. Like, what? What are
Well,
you?
fucking shit. Thank you. Because I'm just thinking, like, you're outside your goddamn mind. Like, you have no idea what I've done for this fucking company. Like, you're out of your. Am I cut out? But bitch, you've been here for 15 years and you're still a lowly supervisor. Suck my dick. Fuck out of here. The fuck is wrong with you? The fuck out of here. You goofy. Anyway.
You think you belong here? Wow, that is to a 7-year tenure veteran with
With accolades out the ass. Like,
great numbers. Yeah.
stupid accolades. Like, I was just kind of like, wow, because I think the problem here
Like,
is
do you
because
walk
now,
up? I mean, I'm not putting you in a pedestal with Mahomes, but it's like, do you walk up to Mahomes and say, "Do you think you cut out to be a quarterback?
right?
Did you just see what I just did?" Or
Yeah,
oh, shit.
that's the trippy ass part, man. Like the kind of balls on you to kind of say that, and
Yeah,
then
to
kind of
the
like revert
audacity.
you and say, well, what do you think? Like, you're the one. Why are you asking me that? Like, what are you trying to say without saying? And
Yeah,
then not really have the fortitude to say what you're actually trying to say because you realize you probably fucked up with saying that. So yeah,
person
but
doesn't have a backbone at all. This is a spineless,
yeah,
goofy. It's a fly on the wall that don't want no part, no parts of like real rolling your sleeves up. And I mean, like,
right.
do you really think you gotta remake me completely over from scratch? Like, is my
Right.
approach is that bad? You feel that my approach is that bad, even though my statistics show otherwise? Like, wow. All right.
Yeah. So I guess the other part of it is knowing that we are now on a national scale and there's nobody in your corner except the person that you directly report to. Knowing that that person is now not in your corner,
You're
you're
totally
that,
alone.
and I'm cool with being on an island, but I also know that that isn't going to serve you well in this place. So I'm going to get out while I can get out on my, when it's my choice type of thing. So yeah, it's sad. And I think the part that really bothers me and it's really kind of hindering me from looking at a bunch of other stuff here too is just knowing that I put so much work and so much time and so much dedication into a place that is
Yeah.
literally trying to throw you away because you don't matter. And that stings, man. That sucks. It's like leaving it. Well, fuck. You'll know this. You'll understand this fucking
Yeah, but to
analogy.
say it sounds like my situation where it's like
Right.
you
It's
feel like Deion Sanders, like when he leveled, he said, "Man, that's the house I built." Like, but
yeah.
like you hate to walk away from it, but it's at the same time, it's causing you further detriment and further
right.
toxicity. But it's sad to walk away. Like, dang, look at all of that investment and that time I put into that thing, and it makes you a lot more hesitant to walk away from it. But if you see yourself, you got to ask yourself down the future. You got to give yourself a 5-year evaluation. You got to say to yourself, okay, if I stay here in 5 years, what does it look like? If I leave in 5 years, what does it look like? So if you leave, the first 1 or 2 years might be very rough, but the next 3 years of that 5 is going to probably feel more prosperous. And like, I'm going through the same situation. So, or do you stay the whole 5 and just continue to get battered and browbeat with more toxicity day in, day out, year in, year out? So,
yeah. And I know I've had this conversation sort of kind of before, but this feels a lot different because at least I could kind of fall back on saying, hey, well, you know what, at least I got someone in my corner, someone to like, I can kind of.
Well, no one's like looking at your, like what the company's doing and upper, management, like 2-3 levels up, they're too busy. They're too busy making terrible changes for all of us that we got to deal with, but no one's directly looking at your everyday performance. Now you got some type of robot or wicked teacher that's really following your every steps. Yeah, that makes a big difference.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm calling that a fucking day. But so I'm gonna actively look. Tiff's been sending me something because she's a wonderful fucking wife and wants me to be happy. And without her kind of telling me what she told me, I probably would have been a little naive and just kind of rolled with the punches and been like, well, it's probably just me. But no, she was like, nah, motherfucker, like, look, you need to look at this and think about this. Because being that she's in HR, she's like, yeah, it sounds like this bitch is trying to like either have you get rid of you or she really does not like you. Which kind of go hand in hand. But anyway.
Yeah, and some people do make, like, I ain't gonna say rule with like they do try to get you to, if they don't feel like they can physically get you out of the building, they try to make you or convince you to resign. They try to, be such a thorn in your side that they make you terminate yourself almost. So it's like, okay, sounds like that's what she's trying to get you. Questions like that, like, do you think you belong here? It's almost like she wants you to go home and re-stew and think of that. And, I guess that's the easy way to get you out of the building if that's her intent, because it seems like she doesn't have enough brain power to really get it done on her end. So she's trying to get you to volunteer.
It's difficult to get rid of people there. Well, actually, it's pretty difficult to get rid of people there. But me selling that product that I sold makes her getting rid of me considerably harder. So I almost kind of feel a little bit too in my head, and this may be the tinfoil hat, that she saw that I moved that product. She's like, yeah, this cocksucker. Damn it. Now that was my ace in the hole. If he didn't move this product this month, I could have had a write-up and we could have
I could have moved on with the next step in the corrective action.
Bitch. And then there you go. Like, I don't know. That's probably conspiracy theory stuff, but in my head it makes me feel okay because I'm validating my awful feelings in this person. But anyway, that's to circle all back. That's been going on for about 2-3 weeks. And that's why I really, really needed today to feel good. So I normally wouldn't care, but it stings more today because it's like I really fucking need it today. Like I really did. But anyway, that's what's been going on in my life. So that's fun. Anyway, listen, we have a draft. We're running late here. Let's get going here.
You still want to do the draft?
Yeah, I want to do the draft.
Oh, all right.
Did you not want to? Did you want to?
Oh, no. I mean, it's up to you. Where we at?
Cut out to do the draft, sir?
Oh, I'm fine. I was just
Are
looking
you-
at the
are you
time. I know
cut
you
out
said
for
you
this
like to
podcast?
keep these under $130, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, listen, I need to know this. Are you cut out to do this podcast?
Am I?
Well, I mean, I kind of feel like,
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many episodes we done, but maybe you can provide me with some tips.
all right, I'll give you the tip.
He said, "I'll put the whole thing in there." All right. All right.
So let's let the folks know what the draft is, because this was your idea, and
Yeah.
I really like it.
Yeah. Huh?
I was saying I really like it. So tell
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Watching the show on Hulu. It's called Clipped. It's about the LA Clippers and their crazy debacle of a franchise, but they were playing like an underdog role. So I was just like, what are some of the favorite underdog stories? So I was like, man, we can have an underdog draft. Sorry for texting you late.
Right.
I was like, man, I don't want to. I write it down, but I was like, man, let me just.
Early whenever my stuff never actually rings. It's always on silent.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I don't want it to be sitting on a nightstand like, and you're like, oh shit, he just messed up my sleep.
No, dude, it's noise is a fucking animal, so I need to have earplugs.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, if he's in the next room. You heard it, and I'll probably hear about that later. But I don't give a fuck.
So yeah, I texted was just like, hey man, underdog draft. So favorite underdog stories, and it can be anything. It can be, it can be sports teams. Most of it's probably going to be sports teams. It could be a movie that you like.
No, it's not. It's not going to be all sports.
It can be somebody's life. It can be anything. So, I'm going to start off. Underdog. I'm going with biblical times. Everybody loves the biblical times. David and Goliath. That is the ultimate. That is the ultimate underdog story. I think everybody knows about Goliath being this overwhelming power that no one could see this guy David beating him. That is the biggest underdog story. So I'm gonna start with the biblical one. But go ahead, and there you go.
Okay. So I actually looked a few things up, and I'm gonna read off, some stuff here. So these are in no particular order, by the way. So just kind of how I found them and what I thought about, and whatever. So the Pittsburgh Pirates defeat the New York Yankees in the 1960 World Series. So here's some historical stuff here. The New York Yankees had won 10 out of the last 12 pennants coming into the 1960 World Series, and they were a strong favorite to win over the Pirates. The stats were all in the favor of the Yankees by the end of the series. New York outscored Pittsburgh 55-27 at that point. But Bill Mazeroski, which everyone knows who that is,
yes,
hit one of the most famous home runs in baseball history with his bottom of the ninth game-winning homer in Game 7 to take the championship, inspiring all of these ideas, all these beautiful memories and things like that. But it's probably one of the most memorable local baseball stories. There's literally a statue outside of the park of his running around the bases. So
yes,
it's a historical thing. There is a literal street named after this guy. So kind of a big deal. So definitely an underdog story. It hits close to home because local, but yeah, I would go with that.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I didn't know that the odds were stacked against them that hard in the 1960s.
Dude, they're always stacked. The team's fucking terrible.
All
Tiffany
right.
wants it to be done by 9 because House of the Dragon comes on because she's a giant fucking nerd.
Okay. House of the Dragon, is that on FX?
I don't fucking know.
No, I'm thinking it's like Shogun or something. I'm thinking of Shogun or something. Okay.
I don't watch TV. You know this.
Next one is somebody's life. Football player.
Yeah.
Tom Brady.
You motherfucker.
Oh, was that one of yours? I mean, his whole story is an underdog story. I mean, 6th-round draft pick to the greatest person to put on a uniform. I mean, like, how do you go from that? Like, not only did people didn't believe that you could make an NFL team, nobody thought you were going to be the greatest of all time.
Right.
Like, wow. You went from this. Everybody, you seen the little draft pictures where he looked like this skinny kid that came out of a swimming pool with shorts. He turns to the left, turns to the right, and it's like, this dude don't even look like he can throw a football.
Of it. Think about Brock Purdy. Mr. Irrelevant to here's a contract. Let's start on an actual good franchise. Yeah, so good pick. You're a prick. A good pick.
Go ahead. Yeah. Okay. I mean, everybody loves the underdog story, but then go ahead.
When they glow up, you're like, golly. Right? All right, it's fine. I had a I was thinking about having that be number one just because I knew it, but I was trying to let it slide. All right, so I am
let it slide.
So I am doing the 1980 Winter Olympics Team USA hockey team.
Yes, I was thinking of that one. Yep, against Russia. Like Russia was so dominant.
Yeah, I'll just read the little news article thing, not news article, but because that's what the United States. Okay, do you believe in miracles? The famous quote. Because that's what the United States men's Olympic hockey team looked like they needed to defeat the mighty Soviet hockey machine in the 1980, Lake Placid. Team USA had been playing well during the Olympic tournament, but the roster was filled with amateurs and college players, which is even crazier.
Amateurs and college players.
Battle-tested Soviet Union squad boasted some of the best hockey talent in the world. The Soviet team had dominated for years, and even the most hopeful fans wondered if the United States could even score in the game, let alone win. And obviously they won. Do you believe in miracles? That whole thing. So that, I would say, once again, rah, 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 America. But also,
and wasn't that during the time, the added pressure of the Cold War and all of that? During, United States and Russia just, not on the same page.
Iconic sports things that's ever happened. Just on a national scale. So, absolutely.
Yeah. Definitely thought of that one when I thought of all time in history. Yeah.
Yeah.
My third one is, and I was there to witness this one myself. Back to the NFL. Back to the NFL. My previous example was Tom Brady as far as being an underdog. But when the underdog becomes too much of when the underdog becomes famous and now they be teeter on arrogant, I go with the New York Giants that stopped that perfect season against the New England Patriots. Tom Brady and their arrogant asses and the Patriots. The underdog was no longer America's, sweetheart. It was, I'm so sick of this team. I'm sick of these people. Right. So he went from America's sweetheart underdog to I'm tired of these people. Like they
he turned into like the 2000 Yankees. That's what it was. Everyone fucking hated them.
And they were undefeated. They had the Randy Moss, and they were blowing teams out 50-20 and going for it on fourth down in the fourth quarter, and just embarrassing people. And when the Giants were there, I remember watching it with my boy Philly, and he had on his Giants gear, and I was just like, I don't even know why we watching the Super Bowl. I had no faith. Like, I thought they were going to get blown out. And when they somehow pulled it out, man, I was the biggest Giants fan in the world during that day. Yeah. I mean, that was a true underdog story. Nobody thought a perfect 17-0, well, I guess 18-0, 19-0, because 17, they were
games,
and I didn't see that one coming. That was a great day in sports to see them not be perfect.
Gate, right?
That was what?
That was Helmet Gate with David Tyree, right?
Yeah, it was one of I know the Giants beat them both times in that Super Bowl. Both of the times I didn't imagine the Giants to pull it out, but especially the one where they were undefeated. I didn't see any team touching them. They beat him.
Okay.
They beat him.
So I'm going to take the same vein. Funny enough, not that, but I'm going football, and I'm going a person, kind of like how Brady is. So I did have a contingency plan. I'm going Kurt Warner.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
So
Bagging groceries.
yeah, so he was undrafted in '94. He then, he then went to the Arena Football League, which, oof, few successful years there. He then got picked up by St. Louis and then developed the greatest show on turf. Did his thing there. Moved over to the Giants in 04. Eli took his job there. 4 years later, he had another resurgence and was like, hey, Arizona Cardinals, let's take you to the Super Bowl and get beat by the Steelers.
Yeah.
But still, let's take you there because, I don't know, 14, 15 years later, an undrafted player that was bagging groceries, that was playing in the AFL, you're now like a seasoned vet. And dude still have.
He's a Hall of Famer. Kurt is in the Hall.
Hall of Famer, now an analyst. Like, you talk about, and he seems like a humble guy too. So I feel like he's easy to root for, and it's not like a Brady thing. It's like, Brady, you're a cunt.
Yeah.
Warner, like, you don't really hear anyone saying anything bad about Kurt Warner ever.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some of his analysis and stuff on NFL Network. He knows what he's talking about, but not to a point of arrogance or cockiness like Tom Brady.
Right.
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Seems like a guy that is easy to get along with. Yeah. Real likable guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Who's your anchor? Who's your last pick?
My last pick, I don't know if you're going to get mad about this, but it's a little bit more recent. Who did everybody love going into the NFL playoffs this year? Me and you talked about it. Detroit and Dan Campbell. I mean, everybody loves an underdog.
God, so good, you bastard. That's so good.
I mean, you didn't root for them because they were the favorite to win. You rooted for them because, you just liked the mentality, just the realness, the camaraderie that he built up. But for all you knew, Detroit has always been a terrible team. Like, they never, I don't recall them ever getting that far. So I was rooting really hard.
Damn it, I love Dan Campbell. All right. That's super good. Oh, I'm so mad I didn't even think about that. All right, that's a good pick. All right, my last pick, and I remember this because I actually watched it happen, and it made me become kind of a pseudo fan. It is the 2004 Boston Red Sox overcoming a 3-0 deficit in the ALCS to overcome the Yankees and break the curse of the Bambino. That whole Babe Ruth situation.
But the Gambino, yeah, I remember. Yeah.
I just thought it was so cool because that was, once again, we brought up, like, no one likes the Yankees. Well, this is like the peak of the Yankees where it's like, you guys are the worst. We hate you. Die in a fire. And I remember watching this on this really small, shitty TV in a really shitty apartment with Tiffany and a little space heater because it was cold. And I just remember seeing this happen. I'm like, no, that's not. And that was just, I believe that was the first time a team ever overcame a 3-0 deficit, and like 3 games to none deficit in a best of seven series. So yeah, pretty wild, man. Pretty wild. I just, that was just such a memorable. I mean, obviously, I remember where I was, what I was doing, who I was with. So it's like, okay. So, yeah. Yep.
My last mention.
I don't have anything else because apparently I'm only sports oriented and everything else doesn't matter.
I know, mine's. I didn't want to stay sports, so I just thought of David Goliath like really quickly, but
Fair. That's a good one, man. That's a good one.
But I mean, just to come off of sports, just the evolution of somehow not getting past it, but the evolution of my race, period. You know, from slavery to slapping people at the Oscars. No one thought Will Smith would be slapping somebody at the Oscars and didn't get arrested or get killed or anything like that. But just, everything is not, racism isn't gone, and,
No.
African Americans aren't where they're supposed to be or anything like that as far as equal, but it's a process that has evolved. So the ever going underdog, or the evolution of it from slavery to where we are now, I mean,
that's a good one.
Big strides, man. Big strides.
You're kind of a shitty person not having that in your actual draft, but yeah, fair. Okay.
Yep.
That's a good one. Yeah, I don't have any on my end for my honorable mention thing, because I was very, very sports oriented there with that.
Yeah. I did have one more. Sorry. A movie everybody loves. Rocky. Rocky Balboa. Everybody loves the underdog. And unlike Tom Brady, once the underdog won and then they start getting cocky and people start hating them, Rocky somehow, whoever, came up with these movies, somehow reinvented Rocky as the underdog in each one of them. Where you still enjoyed, rooting for him against Apollo Creed in the 2, Clubber Lang, and then they brought the Russians. So it's a true underdog story, a franchise of underdog.
The only reason I didn't go with anything like that, because it didn't happen.
It's fictional. Yeah.
But I understand it's storytelling. It's a great epic story. But yeah, that's good. I tunnel vision pigeonholed my kind of way a little bit. But I don't remember. I mean, obviously, I don't remember the 1960 World Series, but I'm alive and aware of, I fucking have a Maz jersey with a Maz signature upstairs. He is such a institution in this fucking town. That's so.
Yeah.
But yeah, good stuff. I mean, Kurt Warner doesn't mean shit to me, but
Tom Brady don't mean shit to me, but hey, you gotta give respect where it is.
Super Bowl thing, but then also remembering him having literally named the greatest show on turf that. I don't know, just it's wild.
It is.
Yeah. Any parting words here?
No, not at all.
Well, I do want to say, I want to thank everyone that's been checking out the shorts. I appreciate that. Because we're up to 60 subs now, which is fucking bonkers. Because before we were really
we were 18 or 19 for so long.
We were 26. We were at 26, and that blew up to 60. I think right now we're at 33,000 views or some shit. So, and people are checking out the pod. It's not just the little shorts of Crosby and the Kitties and everything. The people are showing up for this stuff. I put in a short there for, if anyone would be curious to do any Q&A episode. If it's more hey, you guys got questions, we got answers, type of thing. Whether it be personal, not personal, whatever. Just thought that'd be a cool idea to kind of put out there. No real bites on it, but regardless, I think we're broadening our horizons on our audience. And I know we were supposed to clean it up, but I was a little fiery today, so hide your kids. Sorry.
Hide your kids, hide your wife. Forgot all about that.
But I felt it there's nothing wrong with having a very real, venomous episode, because we're allowed to feel. So hopefully it was articulate enough to a degree to not just seem rah caveman F word type of thing. So
rah caveman F word. That's the formula.
But yeah, anyone that has been checking us out, appreciated
very much.
It really is a really cool. You talk about it. I almost brought up the podcast, but I was like, that may be too pretentious and douchey from the underdog story.
You almost what?
I almost brought up the podcast.
Oh yeah. He said, you're like, oh, y'all full of like y'all came full circle. Like y'all still an underdog. Yeah, y'all ain't got nowhere yet.
Yeah, I just felt like it was a good thing to kind of put that out there to let folks know, like, hey, look, it's not just numbers that are showing up and no one's paying attention. I look at these a ridiculous amount of time during the day. It's probably unhealthy, but it makes me happy, and right now that's what I need. So keep it coming. I appreciate it.
Hey, I mean, Crosby is the underdog that allowed us to come through this. You got to get that intro with him in there because
we really do. Like I got to figure something out with that because that needs to be because he's the mascot, man. Like I can't, like, no.
His contributions does not go unnoticed. I tell you that.
Hey. Yeah,
he like, can I get some FaceTime?
Right. Yeah, we need to get him on the squad. I mean, look, I think we're on a regular schedule here. We have nothing that's really going to be popping up that's going to be causing any problems here. So,
you thought it could have been a slight hiccup today, but nope. I don't see nothing until football season.
Yeah, and we'll kind of reevaluate that and figure that out when we get closer. So, yeah, that'll be fun. All right. Anyway,
not until August. We don't really like it from all the rest of June and all of July. We're on schedule as far as I know. I don't see anything else.
Yeah, and then come that time, we'll start really kind of getting the football shows up. So our recording schedule is going to be definitely more. But hey, we got fucking jobs, man. We got an obligation to the people. So if they're showing up and paying attention to our stuff, then we need to show out for them too. So
agree.
Yep. Well, anywho, I'm gonna go get some dinner. You take it easy. Enjoy your Father's Day.
My Father's Day cup of noodles, and yay.
Yeah. All right, man. Take it easy. Toodles, people.
Have a good one. Yep. Thank you.
You're welcome.